Greetings, opera lovers! Live from Bloomfield, Connecticut, it's Rona, here to report on the opening HD event for the Met of the 2016-2017 season. It was Tristan und Isolde. I was not able to make the Saturday matinee, but I was able to catch the Wednesday encore performance. I had already heard the audio of opening night, and it was mighty impressive. The singing was outstanding, the orchestral playing was divine, and I thought the conductor had a superb vision for the entire opera. I did make some negative comments about Miss Stemme, Nina Stemme, playing Isolde, and that is because I just do not care for the sound of her voice. However, let me be very clear. She is an extremely accomplished singer. I wish I could achieve that level of artistry and technical prowess, but it was never meant to be. But just when I listen to her, I don't love it. I admire it, but I want to love a voice. Speaking about loving a voice, hearing Stuart Skelton as Tristan during the opening night, I thought he was wonderful. Some people thought he sounded tired in the third act. Not me. I didn't hear it. And I will tell you this, during the third act that I heard on the encore, I listened for vocal fatigue and I didn't hear any. So vocally, this was an outstandingly strong performance. The Met put together a stellar cast. Of course, the orchestra, which is always terrific. I think they played among the most beautifully that they have ever played. And Sir Simon Rattle is not what I would call like an egotistical conductor. He just lets the music speak for itself. He shapes it. He lets it just come through. And of course, he has the perfect instrument to do it with, the Met Orchestra. There's a little bit of men's chorus, but they don't have much to do. They, of course, were superlative too. But everybody is talking about the production, and everybody wants to know, well, what did you think, and what did you think? Well, here's what I thought. If everybody else is weighing in, why shouldn't I? So to start with, during the great prelude, one of the most famous preludes or overtures to an opera, there was something for us to watch on screen. What it looked like was the shaping of a compass and filling it out and having the compass, the inner hand, go round and round. Yuck. And that image comes through many times in the opera. I really have no idea what it's supposed to add. It didn't add anything for me. The general look of the opera was ugly. Okay, I'll accept that. It's not a pretty story. Based on what we know about how Wagner felt during the writing of Tristan und Isolde, he was very much influenced by the philosopher Schopenhauer, who has a dark view of the world. So, of course, Tristan und Isolde is a very dark opera. And it's also one of those operas where not too much happens. So, hey, please, Mr. Director, could you give us something interesting to look at? Not like costumes. Okay, Isolde, royalty. She's a princess. She's going to meet her intended bridegroom. And what does she get to wear? A schmata. Yes, it looked like something from a secondhand clothing store. A coat over a pretty ugly outfit that looked kind of like pajamas. They didn't even fit well. And Brangena, she was dressed quite nicely, sort of like a modern day woman. The men's costumes, somebody's ridiculous idea of what a naval captain or people in the Navy wear. Lots of medallions on the chest. I don't know if you can see this. And pretty awful looking stuff. So when does this opera take place? Today? I guess so. Everybody's smoking, but they smoke like this, sort of like in the film noir, like Humphrey Bogart or Lauren Bacall. And I think that's what the director was trying to achieve. A film noir look of Tristan und Isolde. After all, what story could be better represented by this? That would be true, except that the production just yuck. So what did the stage look like? Well, It was divided in half, and each half, the top and the bottom, had 3 sections. So people could go up the stairs and down the stairs. They could be in the larger section. It all was for naught because it didn't add any interest. And then there were those 2 other characters, one obviously representing Tristan's father and himself as a little boy. Very, what can I say? Not too subtle, not too interesting. I think the worst part about the production was the fact that, first of all, it really didn't add anything. If you're going to take it out of its intended time frame, why not put in a vision? But just to make it more modernly drab didn't seem like a good idea to me. So there are a lot of projections on the stage. The director, Trelinsky, is a filmmaker, I believe, and there's a lot of filmic stuff going on. One of them was quite beautiful, and that was waves. And when the music comes and the waves are in the background, it kind of helped along the movement. However, the waves were way on top of the singers. Why not on the bottom? I don't know. Well, nobody asked me to do this opera, so I didn't get to choose any of that. And then there's a pistol instead of a sword, and some of the libretto doesn't make sense with what's going on, as Isolde finds a shard of a pistol in her fiance who was supposedly killed by Tristan. So all of this didn't add up to much. However, there are 2 musical moments that there's more than 2, but there are 2 musical moments that always get me. And one of them is the opening of Act 3. It just reaches the innermost part of me, and I love it. And there was this really terrible projection on the stage. It ruined it. And then, of course, there's the Liebestod. Before the Liebestod, I had already read about this. Isolde supposedly slits her wrist. Well, I thought they were going to have her slit, but instead, let's see if I can get this in the camera. She makes a cut up her arm like this, and then, of course, her arms are very bloodied. Didn't do anything for me, and Tristan dies in a hospital bed. There was once a very interesting take on La Boheme, taking place in a hospital. Yes, believe it or not. And that kind of reminded me of this. And there were other scenes that reminded me of this or that. There was recently a production of Faust where the first word in the opera is rien, nothing, and that is boldly put in letters on the stage, rien, so that you don't forget that it's nothing. And that's how I felt about so much of the visuals of this opera, nothing. And also reminding us that it's nothing. I honestly would have preferred to have seen an opera with a blue background and just have the singers move around and sing as greatly as they did, interact with each other, rather than see all that distracting scenery. Yes, that's what it was. Distracting, not nice. Okay, so all of you who disagree, who loved it, that's fine. This is just how I saw it. So the next opera in HD is Don Giovanni. I've seen it a couple of times. The singing this year I thought was excellent on the radio when I heard it, but I'm not going to re-see it. I'm not sure I'm going to see the modern opera, and I'm not sure what else I'm going to see. But I was really disappointed because, after all, how often do you get 5 such great singers as we had for this opening night? Tristan und Isolde, such a great conductor, such a terrific orchestra. Really disappointing. I wanted to love it. I really did. I went in with high hopes and came out bored. Fell asleep for 10 minutes during Act 2. Yes, that's a confession. Okay. So, see you again soon. Everyone, have a great day.